So it's the start of day 7. We're on the hill just east of the youth hostel at Itford Farm. I'm here with the glamorous assistant and Roberta. And yeah, we did have a lift back home last night because the forecast was absolutely terrible. Thunderstorms, heavy rain, sideways wind. Whether it actually was or not, I don't know, but we were going to camp somewhere up here and there's no cover at all, just a bit of scrub that potentially cows could have been walking through, so decided to safe respect to go home. So Roberta's brought us back this morning. Normal start time about 11ish. Megan's now got her shoes back on because the flip-flops now have played havoc with her better leg, so that's all stiffened up with some support under the socks. The glamorous assistant and Roberta will be hanging around for probably another half an hour or so. Then they will depart and then we're off again looking for a rough place to camp in the forest tonight. Flappy ears, flappy. Such a windy, exposed environment up here that some of the trees grow at an odd angle, so yeah, the prevailing wind is coming from the right towards the left, and you can see what it does to this hawthorn bush. We're finally out of the wind on the bridleway on the descent down to Alfriston. It's not even 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we're now considering whether we should just forget staying over tonight somewhere, rough camping, and just go from here all the way to the end at Eastbourne. Might mean a bit of a longer afternoon, but we've still got so many hours left this afternoon that we could probably easily get there. So yeah, in the next half an hour we'll make that decision and potentially get picked up at the end of today. This is Alfriston now, lots of Tudor buildings, a couple of old pubs either side the road. There's an old figurehead here of a ship. Does it say what it is? I can't remember.
No. Pretty ugly.
We're in Alfriston and we've decided to crack on, so we just stopped for a coffee and an ice cream, and on the village green here there's a wedding just coming out the church. So the wedding car's over there. Lovely day. This is the River Cuckmere, we're crossing at Alfriston. Just missed the wedding coming out the church. Church bells going in the background. Cuckmere is probably one of the narrowest rivers. This will be the last river we cross on the journey. And we're going for it. So yeah, we've got a bit of a slog now.
It was like 16
through Friston Forest, up on through Seven Sisters Country Park, onto the edge of the Downs and over Beachy Head towards Eastbourne. Final day. Just come through Litlington on our way to Friston Forest and then to Westdean Village, but because now we're on the footpath section, so when you get close to Alfriston, the South Down Way divides. You can either go on the footpath section, which we're doing, which takes you across the cliff edge to Beachy Head, which is obviously a bit dicey for horses, or you go the bridleway route, which is further inland through Friston Forest and Jevington onto Willingdon and then Eastbourne. But on the footpath section, I think it's the first footpath section we've walked, obviously they have mechanisms to stop horses going any further, so there's things like stiles and kissing gates, which isn't ideal for someone with a massive backpack. One, you don't really want to be climbing up a stile, teetering around, and equally we're finding trying to go through a squeeze on the kissing gate is a bit awkward, because when you get into the middle of it you kind of have to hold your breath as you swing the gate round, and it's just managing to do it but without popping our drinking bladders on the back. We're now at Westdean Village. Now we've got the climb up to the hill overlooking Seven Sisters Country Park and the river at Exeat, or Exeat, however you want to pronounce it. They've just redone the steps, so at least they're more even than they used to be. Used to be really erratic. Coming out of Friston Forest now, then we got up the big view.
That's really cool.
That's Cuckmere Haven, where the River Cuckmere goes to sea. Oh. So we're going across over here somewhere, I think. Then that's when we meet the cliffs, and hopefully the wind's not blowing from the land to the sea, otherwise we're going to have to be really careful how we walk along the cliff edge. Right, we're on our way up the main, look like I'm some sort of dodgy sailor with the wind blowing my hat back like this. We're starting on the Seven Sisters, we're just going up the first one. Very windy. That's still Cuckmere Haven, and that's the first of the Seven Sisters. We're on top of sister number 1, heading east towards Eastbourne. A few more ups and downs along the way, keeping it well away from the edge because it's pretty windy. There's people over there though sitting pretty close. That's Burling Gap, where that old Coast Guard cottage used to be. Whee! And then Beltoot Lighthouse here. And then Beachy Head is over here somewhere, so we're probably still another couple of miles off yet.
Don't end it, I want to show them how you get through here.
Oh, this is the kissing gate issue. Might be a bit bigger.
That's smaller. What?
We've made it to Beltoot Lighthouse now, it's just behind me. It's still really windy, we're just shouting from the wind, just managed to ring Roberta to get a lift back. Beachhead countryside centres ahead of us, another hour's walk maybe. If I flip the camera around you can see the lighthouse, the first sighting of the modern lighthouse. The wind is rippling through the fields of grass. Really nice day, but it's very, very windy. We're going to have our last packet of hula hoops and cereal bars. Megan's going to end up like the whole. We're up on Beachy Head. Really windy. And that's Eastbourne Pier in the distance. And then where we live, Bexhill, is further along the coast, between Eastbourne and Hastings. 6 o'clock on day 8, Saturday. We've reached the end, or the start, depending on which way you're going. So we're at the end of the seafront in Eastbourne where it meets the downs. Yeah, it's been a really blustery day, so potentially we were due to finish tomorrow and walk 6 to 8 miles, I think. I don't know how many miles we've done today, but it's quite a lot. We're not tired in any way. Megan's got her shoes back on.
Haven't taken them off.
And it's got an ankle support cobbled together by us this morning.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's been a good trip. We'll have a bit of a debrief maybe tomorrow. So we're going to go into Eastbourne now and go to the yummy noodle bar and have a big bowl of noodles and stuff. Been a good trip. Give us a kiss. Love you.
Love you too. Hello, this is my recap of the South Downs Way. The first question is, what did I enjoy most? And I would definitely say spending time with my dad and getting to see the English countryside in all its beauty. We were very lucky with the weather too, so couldn't really have asked for more. The second question, what did I like least? And that would definitely have to be being covered in ticks after sleeping in the forest. It was just a mortifying feeling, really. And the third question is, what would I do differently? And I would say different footwear. The shoes that I chose to walk the South Downs Way in were a second-hand pair of Salomons, and I just thought I was all that wearing them because they're a good brand and they look cool. But I did end up walking most of the South Downs Way in my flip-flops, my pink shiny flip-flops, which was doable and slightly uncomfortable at times, but it had to be done. But definitely footwear, I would wear a pair of running shoes like my dad chose to wear because they were lightweight and they dried fairly quickly. But it's very nice to reminisce and look back at the photos, just because it was challenging at times and we got through that together. But definitely my favourite thing was spending time with my dad and enjoying the wildlife and the countryside that England has to offer.
What did I like most about doing the South Downs Way? Well, it's obviously spending time with my daughter Meghann. Doing a little adventure with your kids is always good. So next time it had to be George doing something. We've got a Sweden trip planned later on in the year in September, so George will feature in that. What did I least enjoy? Probably the ticks, but that was my own fault. What would we do differently next time if we were to do it again? I think one is obviously don't camp on the bare forest floor or anywhere near this long grass, because there will be ticks. And if you are prone to ticks, then obviously you're going to get covered in them, and likelihood is you'll get bitten by them. So in your tent, always put the inner up, sleep inside the inner. Don't leave the inner door open, otherwise it defeats the object, because obviously that's supposed to be bug proof. And if you're in a hammock and you're off the ground and you're within a kind of bug-free environment within one of these travel hammocks anyway. What else? Yeah, don't carry quite so much water. When I did it previously, I carried 5 litres of water just because I wasn't expecting to reach a tap necessarily on every day. I think the water provision has been improved now along the South Downs Way, so just check online and via the books just to see if there are more standpipes. If there are, then you could probably cut down. But during the very hot summer days, because you are exposed on the top of the escarpment there, both with the wind and with the sun, you get dehydrated very quickly. So I'd always recommend carrying more water than you actually need. And bear in mind things like washing up, washing yourself, as well as drinking water and the food that you would add to your maybe dehydrated meals. So it all adds up. Yeah, and then to sum up, really, the South Downs Way is well worth doing. So 100 miles is a bit of a test if you've not walked that far before. But because you have to do it over at least a week, I would suggest, if you are backpacking, probably between 8 to 12 days, maybe, if you cut down the mileage per day. If you are carrying everything like we did on your backs, then that is a fair weight and it does get tiring. So maybe you need to do some prep work, some longer walks with some weights, or certainly packed rucksacks prior to doing the South Downs Way. It's definitely achievable. I've done it 3 times now at different times of the year, and enjoyed it all 3 times. What else? Lots of wildlife to see, so that's what makes it special. Quite close encounters like that muntjac deer we had, and the pair of roe deer we got very close to, as well as the red kites. What I just would say right at the very end, though, is because we are living in southeast England, everywhere is so busy nowadays. You'd expect the South Downs Way to be the same, but it's not. You might find that there are people, dog walkers or horse riders, fairly close to where you would park on top of the downs, but when you get in between the car parks, you virtually don't see anybody at all, and it feels like you are isolated, even in the 21st century in southeast England. So go for it.